Hi, I'm Justin, and this is my next video. Let me shed some light on this video. Okay, so, um, today I'm going to talk about shielding. Um, and if I don't stare directly at the camera, it's probably because I don't want to. Okay, anyway, so yeah, shielding. Well, what the fuck is it, first of all, and why is it important, and, okay, so for me personally, shielding is essential because I don't want to be sitting next to some random guy on the bus feeling their feelings when they're thinking about all kinds of horrible things and feeling all kinds of horrible things, and then leave the bus and be in a terrible mood with negative energies that then affect everyone I'm around. So, to protect myself from absorbing other people's negative feelings, I shield. So, how do I do that? Well, the first thing I do is I recognize the difference between what I'm feeling and somebody else's feelings. And I do that by knowing how I felt before I was around the people I'm feeling these things around. So, like, I start off by keeping a good awareness of what I'm actually feeling. And that means mindfulness, you know. So mindfulness means being aware and meditating within the things that I feel. Um, and I don't constantly examine my feelings because that's obsession. What I do is I simply take note of them. I take note of how I'm acting on them, and I just rest with it for a minute. You know, I just feel it, for lack of a better term, without allowing it to take hold of conscious thought or take hold of my heart to the point where I'm acting on them. And then I realize that my feelings are usually pretty constant. They're static most of the time. You know, if they shift, it's because of one experience or another most of the time. And if I realize that I'm starting to feel other people's negative feelings, because it's always good to feel other people's joy, but it's not good to feel their negative feelings. If I'm not going to use it to help somebody, or if I'm simply not okay enough to be able to handle it, and it's affecting me in a bad way, then I will start shielding myself. You know, me personally, I stay open most of the time, and I allow myself to just experience these things. But that's only after years of experience and years worth of, accepting the difference between my feelings, other people's feelings, and controlling how they affect me inside. So when I need to shield and when I want to shield, I start by taking a deep breath. I take a deep breath and I focus my mind on what I call an inner totem. And that would be the smile of somebody I love, or, you know, a thought of my higher power, or a memory that brings me joy, something that I can focus on that doesn't bring up negativity. And in that focus, I just breathe. And I then imagine myself surrounded by golden light. Um, that golden light to me in imagery is a reflection of purity and protection, because gold is the most versatile metal on earth. It's also the most pure, and it's also the most valuable. So to me, it's the color of love. But I picture gold light instead of white light, where a lot of people who teach shielding, they use white light. To me, since gold is the color of love, gold is the color of my shield, and that's just a personal thing. It has nothing to do with the effectiveness. White light, green light, orange light, purple light, rainbow light, brown light, whatever it is, it doesn't matter as long as it's the color of your shield. And I imagine that light emanating out from the center of my heart around my body in about a 10-foot radius. And then I start to do what I call flaring. So I reach a state of mindfulness on love and I flare it. Um, it's difficult to explain flaring because it feels different to other people, but because I'm in tune with my energy, I know what it feels like to be within my energy, within my spirit, and to then emanate it outwardly from myself. And that light and that love overtakes any type of negative feelings that I may have already absorbed, and also protects me from receiving those things. Again, mindfulness, inward totem, meditation on love, and an emanation of it. So I should probably explain actualization. So actualization is, to me, having an energetic feeling and putting it to use. That means that I will take, I don't know, maybe an experience with work, right? And say I'm working with somebody that I don't necessarily connect with, and we don't necessarily have a resonation, um, and their emotions start to affect me, or that lack of resonation starts to affect me. Um, I will understand that concept, and it takes time and it takes patience, because knowing what the energetic currents feel like and knowing what the energies that come from the cosmos and from the universe beyond feels like is it's a bit of a learning curve, you know. It takes time, and the only way I can describe it is if maybe you've had a powerful religious experience, or been extremely high on ecstasy. That's kind of like the only thing I can say for the positive energetic experience. And for the negative, it feels like there are electric static currents dancing across my skin. It feels like anxiety, those types of things. So, so yeah, like, so we're examining a negative one. So when I start to feel that static, or I start to get a type of chill that doesn't quite feel right, or if I start to experience an unease that doesn't necessarily feel like it's coming from me or what I'm experiencing, or what I'm thinking about, or what I was feeling prior to these feelings coming up, I question it, and then I realize that's an energetic experience, and then I can act. So, when I had these experiences before, I didn't know how to shield myself, and that's the importance of it. Like, I don't want emotional cross chatter amongst me and everybody I'm around. That's a dangerous way to be. It leads to a breakdown in individual experience and, you know, individuality regarding emotions. It breaks down personality, and it breaks down perception of reality sometimes. I mean, it can be kind of like a schism. And so I try to approach it cautiously, you know. Yeah, so to actualize, the most important thing that I can do is recognize myself. Like I said in my previous video, above all, know thyself. That is the goal. And then I learn certain things that will definitely define whether or not I'm having an energetic experience or a simple emotional experience. Um, One is whether or not I am in a state of fulfillment, whether or not I'm doing things that I feel bad about or good about. If I feel bad about things, then I'm not necessarily having an energetic experience, because negativity lowers vibration. So That's another good reason to shield yourself, because negative energy will lower the vibration of the people that they're around, and it'll stick them in the physical. And my own personal goal is to be as far from the physical as possible, because that's not the world that I want to live in. I want to live in a spiritual experience in the physical world, not a physical experience as a spiritual being. So I do my very best to recognize the physical versus the spiritual. A lot of study went into that. A lot of experience went into that as well, and I wouldn't have a ground to define those two different things on had I not experienced altered states of reality by using hallucinogens. So, as much as I warn against doing so, it's important to realize that I did experience certain benefits from it, but that doesn't mean that they're necessary. Ancient Buddhists began this path far, far long before LSD was ever created, so it's not necessary. But this was my learning curve personally. So, I recognize that those heightened states of awareness came from a separation from any type of like carnality and desire, and that I realized that I was one with all that is. And that oneness is the defining state of a spiritual existence. So if I don't feel that oneness, if I'm separate from that, then I'm purely in the physical. If it's all about me and I'm self-centered in the extreme and I'm focused on everything inside me and nothing outside of me, I'm having a purely physical experience, and I should probably go and meditate. That's those are my warning signs. If I am too caught up in my emotions, that's a warning sign. If I'm lost on the moment and I'm wasting time thinking about the past or the future without a purpose, that's a warning sign. And no spiritual state is ever 100% perfect. There has to be balance. So there has to be good balance between the physical and the spiritual, and a merging of the two. So, as I said, it's important to understand these things. Actualization, to me, takes many forms. One is that I'm starting to manifest my reality. And what that means is that my belief in what I want or what I hope for or what I'm seeking out of whatever I'm involved with is as if it already is. And thought and emotion are merged in a spiritual mindset, and I am feeling the energies around me. Then I can also emanate out into the universe that which I believe should be made manifest, and that, to me, is fully realized and the far extreme of spiritual actualization. But manifestation takes a long time, and it's not something that I had been adept in until, over the last year and a half. So I just kind of, let things be what they are in a lot of ways. I learn from whatever I can. If I'm not trapped in the, the physical for too long, then I'm able to learn and able to grow and able to use what I've learned and what I've grown into in a positive way. Any type of spiritual understanding put into action, that is actualization. Any type of wisdom put into action is actualization. Not resting on my laurels when I have these spiritual lessons in me or around me or coming out of me, that's actualization. To live the way that I know is right. And it's not just a matter of right and wrong. What it is, it's a matter of living spiritually instead of physically. I guess there's a lot more that I could say about it, but I don't want to put out another 25-minute video. But yeah, recognize the importance of shielding yourself. It's much easier to teach shielding one-on-one than it is to teach over a video, because one-on-one, I can sit there and I can sense the people that I'm around, and I can recognize their emotions, and then I can also help them understand whether or not they're shielding themselves from mine. So if that's something you'd be interested in, please, reach out. I'm available on the page all the time. If I don't get directly back to you immediately, just be patient. And remember, the light within us is much more than just something to be aware of. It's something to be used, it's something to be gained from. And it's important to know the value of that. And it's also important to know your limits. It's important to understand if you don't feel right about a situation, or if you're not sure whether or not you're picking up on somebody else's feelings, and 10 minutes prior you were feeling just fine until this random person showed up, or you went to a new place and there's a whole bunch of people around, then put that shielding exercise into motion, and remember that to protect your energy, it's okay to do whatever you have to do. Walk away, cancel an appointment, don't answer a call. I posted a picture that had a list of things on it, on the Diverse Unity page. I think the day I started it. But yeah, so remember, above all, know thyself, and may light and love hold you and keep you in great peace and honor. Farewell.